Everything's gone awry.
Oh, it's the right music. That's right. Rick Simon, Tom Selleck, Tom Shattuck. Some of the greatest, bravest...
Chat says Ned Flanders.
Woe betide you. Incorrect. Some of the greatest mustachioed heroes. I'll even go with, what's that one that was, not Baywalk, the other one with the guy from Texas who also had a mustache and lived on a yacht. You guys know what I mean.
I feel like
you
I
won't
do
know what I
mean.
mean.
I think I've heard of it, but I could never come up with the name.
Yeah, I forgot what it was. It was one of those.
Yeah.
I am now part of the series of greats.
Mm-hmm.
Rick and AJ Simon. Mostly Rick. Tom Shattuck, Tom Selleck. I am to be taken seriously now, Alice.
Oh, yeah?
As both a sex symbol and a man who gets things done. A man who's not afraid to get in a fist fight and wipe a little blood afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's me now. Your kids laughed at me. I must admit that...
Did you check with the couple who you will be wedding this weekend how they feel about it?
I must admit, Alice, that it both, although it's a half-assed thing, it both look like a combination of both Hitler and Stalin's.
John Bolton? Says Morgan. Frank Zappa, Ted Lasso.
I wish Frank Zappa had a real mustache. I would have that, unfortunately. No, probably, who's the guy? Chuck Norris. You know who really is? Who probably I have the same exact stuff as?
Mm-hmm.
Brent Bodell. Wait, Brent Bodell. No, Brent.
Bozell?
Bozell, yes. Yeah, of Real Clear. No, you know what I mean.
I know who you mean.
Newsbusters. All right, Alice. So I know that you think that that's the most important thing happening in the world right now.
It is the most important thing happening in the world right now.
So I have a question for you. We've known each other for over a decade now.
True. Yes.
Is this presidency over?
It seems to me that if it were anyone else, it would be.
So we now have seen the proof that Joe Biden.
Okay, well, let's not get ahead of what it shows.
Chuck Grassley showed a piece of paper that
the FBI.
That the FBI had, in which they interviewed somebody who was working at Burisma, right, or working for the Ukrainian government, who documented.
He was a confidential human source, a CHS.
Okay.
So this is somebody that's an FBI asset. Okay. Somebody who the FBI pays to tell them things. And this confidential human source provided this information. So we don't know whether or not the FBI has any corroborating evidence to any of this information, but a lot of it is certainly verifiable or not. Like, you can verify whether this stuff happened or not, right? So with that said, go ahead.
Biden's pressured Burisma founder into paying $10 million bribe to get Ukrainian prosecutor fired, FBI source claims.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Grassley released a document Thursday revealing a reliable FBI source had informed the Bureau. A reliable FBI source had informed the Bureau of the bribery scheme. According to an unidentified informant businessman, the founder of Burisma recounted being pressured by then Vice President Joe Biden to put Biden's son Hunter on the Ukrainian energy company's board, and for $10 million in bribes, $5 million to each Joe and Hunter Biden, in order to use Biden's political influence to force the firing of a Ukrainian prosecutor who was investigating Burisma.
Right. Which we know about because Biden talked about having that prosecutor fired openly.
Bragged about it.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
He said this in public. So that's not like a controversial or some like conspiracy theory take.
Although
Biden
they've been fighting
them.
against this conspiracy for a while in saying, no, that guy had no Burisma connection and it's not the same thing whatsoever. So they've been fighting against this for a while.
Right, but I mean,
Team
like
Biden.
the part where they asked them to fire the prosecutor, that's not like a conspiracy theory. That just happened. Like Biden talks about that.
Right.
About
This is
pressuring
that.
them to fire the
Example,
prosecutor.
I was, not but it just happened to be, that was the assignment I got. I got all the good ones. So I got Ukraine. And I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't.
That was Shokin.
So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was what?
If this isn't the spiking the football after your own crime, after your own bribe.
I know.
6 hours. I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time.
Someone who was solid, as in somebody that the gas company that's paying my son wants in there to stop investigating that.
Exactly. Back to the National Review article. In order to use Biden's political influence to force the firing of a Ukrainian prosecutor who was investigating Burisma. The prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, was fired by the Ukrainian government a few months after Vice President Biden in late 2015 threatened then Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko that the Obama administration would withhold $1 billion in congressionally approved U.S. funding unless Kyiv fired Shokin. Biden
I thought, by the way, that threatening to withhold funding from Ukraine was like the worst possible crime against humanity that any person could do.
Because it's the legislative branch that he's tampering with. It seems to me that's right. Because it says $1 billion in congressionally approved U.S. funding. Unless Kyiv, that was what Trump was. Trump intimated that their funding might not come, wink, wink, in the weapons unless he got the goods on this particular crime, as a matter of fact.
I know.
Biden later bragged about the threat. We got that. The bribery information was provided to the FBI in a series of meetings with the informant beginning in 2017. Those meetings, can you imagine the freaking FBI met with the informant, knew all about this stuff, still said that it was all Russian misinformation? MFers got to go down for this. A lot of people should go down and go to effing jail. The bribery information was provided.
Bribery administration, obviously, is also an accurate description.
Yes, I think that might be the title of today's show.
But yeah, this is like clearly it's all the things. This is also the source of what the whistleblower was talking about, this 1023 document. This is like the summary of what this source told them. It includes that this is also the head of Burisma here who has these recordings. This is what he said to the FBI source, that he has 15 recordings of Hunter Biden and 2 of Joe Biden.
Right.
Saying that this was the plan.
Right. Those meetings were summarized in re-interview of the informant on June 30th, 2020, and outlined in a Form 1023, the standard FBI form used to record information from an interview with a confidential human source. As National Review previously reported, this 1023 report has been the subject of an extensive dispute between the House Oversight Committee, which subpoenaed the document, and the FBI, which fought its release. Fuckers. I'm telling you. And then made a redacted version of the document available to the committee with significant restrictions. The 1023 report was released Thursday afternoon with minimal redactions by Senator Chuck Grassley, who explains that he obtained the document via legally protected disclosures by Justice Department whistleblowers. Indeed, the senator has previously explained that it was through whistleblower agents that he learned of the existence of the document. So, okay, one of the guys is Matt Houston.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my brothers in arms, who's also a PI.
Okay.
In Texas. But there's one more show that had 3 guys, early 80s, and the speedboats they used, guys. Come on. So, I mean, I don't, unfortunately, there's been no analysis that I've seen on this as yet that's been deep. But if they've got this guy, if they've got the audio recordings I mean, this guy is done. Actually, even this much is done. Biden can't run for president now.
Well, and they're saying they paid each of them $5 million. Like, that should be easy enough to check, right? Right? Like, if they each got $5 million around that time. Are the Bidens, like, that independently wealthy that they're, like, $5 million payments flying in and out all the time that you wouldn't be able to verify that and who those were from?
Well, right. I assume that the IRS guys know some of this stuff. They've talked about it.
There's tons of stuff here that's, like, investigatable, right? Like, this is all information that could be verified. There's sure a lot more to go on here than there ever was with the stupid dossier.
Yes.
And the Trump and the Moscow hotels or whatever, like the stupid stuff that CNN seriously reported on like it was a real thing.
Yes, this is like everything, including these audio. There's a whistleblower. They've got actually from start to finish now. They've got the whistleblower from Ukraine. They've got the receipts of these guys getting their money.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Tony Bobolinsky who can show you that this is the kind of thing they were doing.
Well, and also it's just kind of obvious because there's no possible reason to have Hunter Biden on the board of your oil and gas company unless it's for this purpose.
Yes, of course.
I mean, like, it just seems so transparent to everybody involved. It just, like, what other possible explanation if you're an oil and gas company is there to hire Hunter Biden? Why do you need Hunter Biden in your company? And actually, that was one of the things that made me laugh about this report is the confidential human source said that the Burisma president guy said that Hunter Biden's like a moron and that his dog is smarter than him. And obviously, he wouldn't have him on the board of his company if it wasn't for what he's doing for them with his dad. I mean... And so this apparently, like, at least some of these conversations with this head of Burisma were before the prosecutor was fired, and this guy was, like, trying to advise them that they should, like, deal with this investigation in a more appropriate way, but that this was, like, him telling him, like, no, we paid the Bidens. This is going to be fine. Watch. This will go away.
So at this point... what do we do? I mean, what is the...
I mean,
and
I
also
guess the
Twitter
left
seems to be like where is all the stuff?
Well, I mean, right-wing sources are reporting on it, but like, yeah, the media
I see they're reporting on it, but I think somebody's got to make an official move here.
So, but I think what the media is doing and what Democrats are doing is, and I've seen a little bit of this already, is essentially saying like, oh, this is just what some source said. That doesn't mean anything. That's not proof of anything. Which, I mean, obviously is ridiculous if you're going to use the Trump dossier standard because they used that to actually, like, spy on him then. Right? But, I mean, that's the argument that I'm seeing people make on Twitter. But yeah, like, why isn't CNN doing this right now? Like, wouldn't anybody else? I just don't understand. And... I mean, like, yeah, does it mean Gavin Newsom gets into the presidential race?
I think Gavin Newsom might get into the race. I mean, I don't know. Does it change things for Kamala?
I mean, I don't know. So here's CNN. This is today at 5:20 p.m. Grassley releases internal FBI document about unverified Biden bribery allegations. See, so that's what they're doing is like, this is just unverified stuff some source said. Nobody can tell if this is true or not. So, we're not gonna... We can't... Like, there's no way we can say whether it's true or not. The FBI had previously allowed the House Oversight Committee to view but not obtain the document. Grassley said he was able to release the document because of the whistleblowers. The form memorializes claims from an FBI informant but does not provide proof that the allegations are true. Republicans, though, have seized on the unverified material as a part of their broader investigation into the Bidens.
Am I actually seeing this OAN piece of audio purporting to be Poroshenko talking to Biden?
Yesterday, I met with the General Prosecutor Shokin. Yes. And despite of the fact that we didn't have any corruption charges, we don't have any information about he doing something wrong, I especially asked him to resign.
I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here.
This is just a mashup of the different audio, right?
Yeah, but that's a phone call with Joe Biden and Poroshenko. I mean, am I really hearing this? It's supposedly an OAN
But that
thing.
Biden audio is different audio than the Poroshenko audio. It sounds like.
But
Isn't that Biden audio what you just played?
Yes, it's a clip.
I don't know, but yeah,
I don't know either.
That's what I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked at that, so I don't know what to say about it or whether that's accurate or not. Anyway, or if it's a mashup of a couple different things.
Here's Biden in 2015 talking to the Ukrainian parliament.
But in addition, you also have a battle, a historic battle against corruption. And it's not enough to set up a new anti-corruption bureau and establish a special prosecutor fighting corruption. The Office of the General Prosecutor desperately needs reform. The judiciary should be overhauled. The energy sector needs to be competitive, ruled by market principles, not sweetheart deals. Corruption siphons away resources from the people. It blunts the economic growth, and it affronts the human dignity. The United States is with you in this fight. We understand we're with you afar. It's much harder for you than it is for us. We've stepped up with official assistance to help backstop the Ukrainian economy. We've rallied the international community to commit a total of $25 billion in bilateral and multilateral financing to support Ukraine. It includes $2 billion in U.S. loan guarantees and the possibility of more.
Man, when he's constructing a bribe, his mind is 1,000%.
Yesterday, I announced almost $190 million in new American assistance to help Ukraine fight corruption, strengthen the rule of law, implement critical reforms, bolster civil society, advance energy security.
That is a payoff to various people who wield power in Ukraine.
Conveniently, his son works in the Ukrainian energy sector for some inexplicable reason through random happenstance. But this is, the more I look at this, the more I can see this is like what Democrats and the media are doing. You know, CNN did this unverified information. Republicans have seized on the unverified material. The White House statement says, White House spokesperson Ian Sam said in a statement, "It is remarkable that congressional Republicans, in their eagerness to go after President Biden regardless of the truth, continue to push claims that have been debunked for years and that they themselves have cautioned to take with a grain of salt because they could be made up." Jamie Raskin of Maryland, the House Oversight Committee's top Dem, said releasing this document in isolation from explanatory context is another transparently desperate attempt by committee Republicans to revive the aging and debunked Giuliani-framed conspiracy theories and to distract from their continuing failure to produce any actual evidence of wrongdoing by the president, even at the cost of endangering the safety of FBI sources. The confidential human source, whom the FBI described as highly credible, had only met Zlochevsky in person once. That's that head of Burisma, spoke to him twice by phone, and therefore was not able to provide any further opinion as to the veracity of the claims provided. The informant also claimed he had audio tapes. The FBI document sheds new light on how Burisma executives allegedly hoped to leverage Hunter Biden's position on their board. Other Burisma officials told the FBI informant they thought Hunter Biden was unintelligent but needed to keep him on their board because he could protect us through his dad from all kinds of problems, according to the FBI documents. I mean, yeah, but this is what they're doing. Like, unverified information, out of context, debunked.
So these leaked phone conversations between Joe Biden and Petro Poroshenko have been public for months, since May.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what it is. I haven't looked at that, so I don't know.
So, well, let's listen to it. I've got it to one. I think I just found one here.
This is Trump retweets purported audio of Biden call with Ukraine in 2020.
Here we go. So this is Biden Poroshenko.
This is, Trump tweeted this in 2020.
2020? So
that's what this says, this AP article.
Okay, let me get a better one. Hang on, here we go.
Yeah, this is a few years old.
It says new leaked phone calls, but I'm not hearing the leaked phone call. Where the hell is the leaked phone call?
This is from 2020.
Okay, do you have the leaked phone call? Because I don't have the leaked phone call.
I don't know. Giuliani leaked it. Why are we looking for 3-year-old audio?
Because it pertains to this actual crime. In it, he says that he whacked the guy, right?
Overdrive to clean up loose ends. November 16, 2016, 2 weeks after Donald Trump's victory, Joe Biden is on the phone with Poroshenko. His voice tenser now than before.
This is getting very, very close. What I don't want to have happen, I don't want Trump to get in the position where he thinks he's about to buy onto a policy where the financial system is going to collapse and he's going to be looked to pour more money into Ukraine. That's how he'll think about it before he gets sophisticated enough to know the details.
I can't tell what you have or don't have or what, and I can't listen to them before I send them to you, but like, here's some of the ones. But yeah.
The Biden, this is from June 9. The Biden Poroshenko, this is OAN phone call.
The following conversation, dated February 18, 2015, appears to show Poroshenko
but it was somebody tweeted it out
nothing wrong, but was forced to resign anyways at Biden's request.
The Situation Room.
Hello. Joe Biden.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Your call has been convened.
Petro, can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's better.
I can hear you better too. I'm sorry. You were saying, I missed what you were saying.
Yeah. So, first of all, I'm very happy to hear you. Second, this is very valuable for me that you find out the time for me even in Minnesota. And I'm dreaming some days to be with you in Minnesota.
That's easy, man. I tell you what, I'd like to be with you instead of Minnesota right now, but go ahead.
The third, I have some positive and negative news. I will start with the positive news.
Well, good.
Joe, I have a second positive news for you. Yesterday, I met with the General Prosecutor Shokin.
Yes.
And despite of the fact that we didn't have any corruption charges, we don't have any information about he doing something wrong, I especially asked him, no, it was the day before yesterday, I especially asked him to resign.
So that's a 2020 thing, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
The following conversation, dated February 18, 20.
So it was such a weird news time right now. Because this is the biggest thing, very possibly, that seems to be coming together. First of all, did you say there was a defense?
Mm-hmm.
Does the White House put out a defense?
Yeah, I read it.
Can you read it again?
Moments ago. Let me go back to that.
Because
the White House spokesperson Ian Sam said in a statement to CNN, "It is remarkable that the congressional Republicans, in their eagerness to go after President Biden regardless of the truth, continue to push claims that have been debunked for years and that they themselves have cautioned to take with a grain of salt because they could be made up."
that is not a denial.
Yeah, but that's what they're all doing. Jamie Raskin said the same thing. Releasing this document in isolation from its explanatory context is another transparently desperate attempt by committee Republicans to revive the aging and debunked Giuliani-framed conspiracy theories and distract from their continuing failure to produce any actual evidence of wrongdoing by the president, even at the cost of endangering the safety of FBI sources. So a little more about this audio, this Poroshenko audio is that they're saying that this was disclosed by a Ukrainian lawmaker whom U.S. officials described Thursday as an active Russian agent who has sought to spread online misinformation about Biden, seized on by Trump and his supporters to promote conspiracy theories about the Democratic nominee. Social media posts and videos about the recording have been viewed millions of times. The audio's proliferation on social media, once again, this is from 2020, shows how foreign operations aimed at influencing the U.S. election are still easily reaching Americans despite efforts by Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter to rein in such meddling. Isn't that funny context?
Well, isn't this
But,
interesting?
I mean, yeah, so I guess the question is, obviously, in 2020, Democrats were worried enough about this that they were pressuring from the government, from these federal agencies. They were pressuring big tech companies to squash this information, calling it Russian disinformation and election meddling, that somebody who's a Russian agent, which, like, to be clear, I'm not in favor of Russian agents, but, like, releasing possibly misleading information online is not election meddling. Right? Like, when people talk about election meddling, we're talking about, like, China hacking voting machines or something. Right? That's, like, cheating in an election. Somebody lying online is not election meddling, right? I mean, like, that wouldn't be my definition of it anyway. So, but they've obviously used the social media companies to crack down on this stuff. They were worried enough about it in 2020 that they were thinking that it could have an impact on the election in 2020, right?
Yes, of course it did.
So, how are they going to go through a whole election cycle with Biden on his last legs and all this hanging over him, and now with more evidence of it than ever?
Stephen Miller has a great tweet saying, amazing that the FBI had the laptop for a full year prior to the New York Post story, and when Biden had 50 intelligence officials circle a bogus letter about Russia disinformation that he cited on a debate stage, no one from the FBI, including Wray, stood up and said it was false.
Right, and so they're doing the same thing, and now they're pointing back in time to all the stuff they said back then and saying, see, it was debunked.
Oh, how amazing.
Right? So, and I can see people saying this even on Twitter, like the little blue wave emoji profile people, like when they're commenting on posts about this, are saying stuff like, obviously this is all Russian disinformation, and like posting articles from 2020 saying that the laptop was Russian disinformation. None of the information on this can be verified at all. Well, like, now you're starting to have a pile of information that does kind of start to verify it, and like, and they're still pointing back at the stories from before saying that it's debunked because none of the information could be verified because they didn't have any proof, right? And it's like, well, why didn't the FBI pursue this and see if there was proof of this then?
Right. Well, because they already knew.
Took some time looking into the dossier. I can tell you that, into the Trump Christopher Steele dossier. So, I mean, which was like Oppo research commissioned by Hillary Clinton.
Of course it was. And it was paid for.
Right. So the idea that this, which is, you know, apparently like spontaneous information from an FBI informant provided to the FBI, didn't spur any kind of, I mean, like, it should just be proof to everybody that the FBI isn't serious about like stopping federal crimes or anything. Their whole purpose is political control of people who are in the government, right?
Amazing.
Because obviously Biden, I mean, he wouldn't anyway, but like somebody like Biden isn't going to try and dismantle the deep state when they have stuff like this on him, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to see that anything happens from a legal standpoint here.
Were you kidding me?
How? Who? The FBI?
Oh, okay, that's fine. So,
I mean, like, who's going to do something about it, legally speaking? I mean, I think electorally it could hurt Biden enough that they yank him and stick someone else out there.
Well,
like
legally?
Legally, like, will Biden go to jail for bribery, for, like, corruption and foreign influence and stuff? Will they go after him like the way they went after Mike Flynn for stuff?
They've got to go after him, at least as the way they went after Manafort, or at least Hunter. You can't have Hunter facilitated the bribe, which is foreign lobbying, and he's not registered foreign lobbyist. He had no business doing anything anywhere that had to do with anything.
Right.
You can't not let Hunter go down for anything, and let him do coke in the White House, and let him be filthy rich still grifting. He's grifting right now.
Like, yeah, gun crimes.
No, the paintings. The paintings are another
tax
grift.
Crimes. No, but I'm saying, like, all these things that for some reason for him vanish off his record and for other people don't. But like, what makes you think that this Burisma thing, like, you think Biden's really going to go to prison with this DOJ for this?
I think that there's going to be an effing problem if a head doesn't roll, including the FBI. You're going to have an effing problem that
well, you might have a
that
problem,
day in January that was bigger than 9/11 is going to look like child's play unless there's a reckoning.
I don't think there's going to be a reckoning, at least not a spontaneous reckoning. I don't foresee anybody in the FBI doing anything about this. I don't foresee any Democrat going, oh, wow, maybe Biden was corrupt after all. Like, do you foresee all the people who've been posting stuff about Trump, all the people that we know from Melrose,
who do I see?
The good people, are they going to be like, wow, I guess I was really wrong about the Bidens? Like, I mean...
No, although if they're given permission to do it, they will. If they're given permission, they will. A lot of them will just say, the Hunter's life is tragic and Biden, tragedy, 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 tragedy. But some people will turn. Joe Manchin is running for president, probably.
And Lisa Murkowski is out here saying she's going to, if it's Trump versus Biden again, she's supporting Joe Manchin.
Right. So, I mean, there's reason for Joe Manchin to do something. Some Democrats in purple states can't take a bullet for this guy. They can't. If he's taking bribes from foreign countries.
But they're just going to go no proof.
He took bribes from China. China gave us a coronavirus. And they've had no reckoning. All the bad people have no reckoning.
Yeah.
There is I'm serious.
And the fact that they're taking bribes from corrupt Ukrainian countries to a country that we're now sending billions and billions of dollars to. I mean, doesn't that look kind of bad?
It's literally.
I mean, imagine if you had Dick Cheney dealing with corrupt payments from energy companies in Iraq in the middle of the Iraq War. Right? Can you imagine how the liberal heads would be exploding? But it doesn't matter to that because it's all about winning the politics. They don't care. They're not going to believe it. It's all just unverified. Oh, the Republicans are seizing on unverified, debunked information
but once
again.
The Democrats in
Doesn't
purple
mean
states
anything.
Are going to... That will be a problem. You've got this guy, his fixer and bundler, going on state trips with him now. He went to Ireland with him.
Right.
He's dining. Hunter's dining with the Attorney General.
I know. No, I know. I mean, it's obviously absurd, but what... Who in the government now is going to do something about it is what I'm asking.
Well, I mean, that has to do with polling, I think. Can't they bundle all of Biden's crimes and failings into one thing? Are they still going to run? Because they've attached themselves to the Inflation Reduction Act and Biden's positive agenda. So they're going to really attach themselves to him as this guy sinks? It's not only that he's falling asleep and doing all that stuff, which he is.
Yeah, and wrecking the country.
But he's got the junkie in the White House, and people, the left has turned on Joe Biden in new ways for dissing his granddaughter.
Right.
So there has been some people who folded off here and said, no, we're not doing it. So there has been some noise. Some people are saying a little something to him. It's not enough, but I mean, it's something. I'm just amazed because it's a weird time, and I know that you're salty that I've been looking for audio on the fly, but I've been looking for audio on the fly because I can't believe my timeline is not saturated with stuff, with information. Am I following all the wrong effing people? What is going on here? This is a whistleblower saying the guy took a bribe and he's got audio of it.
No, not a whistleblower even. It's
informant.
Yeah, an FBI informant. Or yeah.
Like, there's a big story out tonight that Ron DeSantis is retooling his campaign, almost relaunching his campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter at this point.
Right.
This story is everything. Trump is vindicated.
Did you see the Trump audio on this?
As a matter of fact, not only was the Trump phone call perfect, it was prescient. He was right. Trump did the investigating that Intel personnel should have done.
Yeah.
Freaking incredible. Incredible.
I mean, one assumes they probably did do the investigating and they know whether or not this stuff is true, and they're just not saying, the same way they did with the laptop, right? Like, they knew whether or not they had investigated the laptop. They knew whether or not the laptop was real, right? But they let Twitter go suppress it, let Facebook go suppress it. They told all the official news sources that it was absolutely Russian disinformation.
They tried to destroy the reporter. Did you see her on the Hill today?
Mm-mm.
And we have a corrupt, compromised president, crooked Joe Biden, who is dragging us into World War III. And that's what's happening on behalf of a nation that paid his family millions and millions of dollars in obvious bribes. All you have to do is take a look at how much China, how much Ukraine have paid the Biden family. It's a total disgrace and a very dangerous one. Under these circumstances, the notion that we would even consider admitting Ukraine into NATO at this time is completely unhinged. Joe Biden can't even walk up a flight of stairs on Air Force One, and he can't put two sentences together. The last thing that this incompetent administration should be doing is risking war with a nuclear-armed Russia or China or other countries. We have somebody that doesn't have a clue representing us. And we...
It's not wrong.
No, it's not wrong whatsoever. But it's just an amazing day. And there's like what else could we talk about? We can't talk about anything else. I mean, we'll do the chat.
Stuff I'd like to
like
talk
what?
about.
Nothing else matters. Although, who are those cute girls? If they're of age, that I saw.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
They are what's called, it's a trend that's on TikTok, called NPC TikTok, which NPC means non-player character, if you don't know, from video games.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Of course I know NPCs from the Twitter memes. Okay,
yeah. So NPC is a non-player character. So there's people, the ones people post a lot about seem to be a lot of girls, but there are guys who do it too. I posted some of the guy videos in there. They create this content on TikTok where they pretend to be like or act like non-player characters in video games, and they react to like emojis and stuff that people do in the chat by paying them. So it's like, and some of them, so like this one that's called Pinky Doll, that's like really famous and huge. She supposedly makes, if you find her one here,
I'll find here's Pinky
she
Doll.
Makes $2,000 to $3,000.
Take zombie flowers for me, beautiful. Ice cream so good. Grab, 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 amazing. Grab, 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 grab. No. Oh, take it, Blue. I love you. No. Yes. Yes. Take your kid out.
So she's reacting. People are posting, they're like paying in the chat to post like emojis and stuff for her to react to. And like a non-player character in a video game, she just has like a set reaction. So like every time somebody is like posting ice cream, she's like, oh, ice cream. And like does it like the same with the same mannerism like a character in a video game would. You know how, so they're doing this. I didn't honestly think that anything could be worse than the terrible YouTube videos that our kids sometimes watch that I always have to turn off because I hate them, where they like watch people play through stupid video games.
Yeah, believe me.
I hate that.
Yep.
I thought nothing could possibly be dumber than that content, but this is dumber content than that. And somebody called it Candy Crush for guys.
Well, really? Guys,
watch this. She makes $2,000 to $3,000 per one of these videos that she puts up. because people are paying her, and then she makes another $5,000 a day from signups for her OnlyFans, which is explicit content.
Jeez.
So, but these videos are extremely popular, and like people will post stuff for her to keep doing the reactions to stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of them. If you go through these videos, there's a ton of people doing them, and they're like all like that.
It's just so disconnected from anything. I'm 40 years separated from considering that like anything. Like I'm not talking about the topic. I'm just talking about like I cannot get my mind inside somebody who would think that would be who would pay to do that. Who would pay somebody to do that.
Pay to. Like, if you keep posting the ice cream emoji, she'll keep going, ice cream, ice cream.
Well, it goes to what we were talking about. I don't even know
like,
what day.
Over and over. And they make all these videos.
Hearing you do it. Do
okay, well, maybe I can make $2,000 to $3,000 a day on TikTok. No, I'm done doing it now.
I'm going to capture it and isolate it. To do one?
No, you can't do it.
Ice cream. Does it make the noise?
No, you go capture it on your own or whatever. I just did a bunch of times. But that's like the point of them. So they're acting like these characters, and they make thousands of dollars doing this on TikTok. And like we've talked about before, how is this a different? Oh, this is me eating this. But anyway, I'm just creeped out by the content and by TikTok.
No, you're getting into this.
And
you're getting into this.
And by this concept, yeah, this is the Tom recording Alice eating secretly content.
Pringles.
But. But yeah, people are saying like ASMR.
You are doing this.
ASMR.
Alice.
Uh-huh.
I'm not, especially when you're on what's that called? Layaway. What's that called?
Maternity.
Yes.
I have to become a TikTok NPC.
Yes, and you're making every slurpy noise that we need to get some money into this house. Yes.
Nobody wants to see an old postpartum lady.
You'd be surprised, Alice.
No.
You'd be surprised. This thing, we can send it to prisons. Okay, those guys, they want to hear your slurp.
No, nobody wants to hear me.
I'll just sell it.
Food.
Okay, I'll do it without you, and I'll create an AIU. I'm gonna need help, Tommy from New Hampshire. But okay.
Anyway,
so I mean, I guess we should do the chat.
That was that. Can I say one more topic before we do the chat?
Yes, one more topic here. It reminds me of being forced the day after 9/11 to play softball in our league because, like, one of the guys was like, we can't always just be more.
But nothing's gonna happen from this. That's the thing.
Well, that's one of the things that I'm noticing on Twitter is that people like Miranda Devine are saying, "Where is everything? Where's all the concern?" Like these news organizations. If ever you needed to know, because they were all complicit in this cover-up of this crime. So this is why it's especially, there's no noise. Of course, that's what makes sense. Because all of these news organizations were complicit in this. They were complicit in the biggest corruption case in the history of United States politics. They all had a part in it. The truth tellers.
Yeah. And then they can point back to how they squashed the information before and be like, oh, no, see, that's already debunked. Why are they pushing more of this debunked information? Right? But this is the media environment that we live in.
Alice, okay. Well, okay.
I mean, I'm just letting you know nothing's going to happen from it unless
let me say
it happens electorally.
This, Alice. Let me say it like this.
Okay.
Let them try it in a small town.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And the small town people are not going to like this stuff.
Okay. All right.
Morgan ain't taking this.
So I was going to ask you about the Maine Wire reporting on this. Can I just say this one thing? And this is not just Maine Wire reporting, but they're the ones that I'm seeing post the most stuff about it. But you know that New Hampshire state rep that got arrested?
Yes, got state rep. Yeah, I read it all.
You posted. But have you seen the stuff that they released today? The texts.
I did. I saw Edward Tomich of the Maine Wire has that.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that.
First of all, why are news outlets still respecting this person's pronouns and stuff?
I know.
They're Representative Stacey, the first transgender lawmaker in the country.
I love how they still have that. Like the first, like you're talking about her accolades. It's like Heisman Trophy winner O.J. Simpson.
I know, is that the most important thing? So anyways, this person was arrested for child porn along with his former girlfriend that he was also arrested for stalking after they broke up. She worked at a daycare center and would send him naked pictures of the 2 to 5-year-old children from the daycare center to feed his disgusting desires.
Yeah.
And
this guy is a monster.
And there's a series of texts between them that are exhibits from the court filings, and they are like possibly the worst thing I've
It's all about wanting to fornicate and describing the genitalia of little babies.
Yeah, and what he wants to do with little babies and all this stuff, and like including with his still male genitals to the little babies.
Can we come to a consensus here, Alice?
Which, if you have a fetish for making babies do stuff, like, you're not a trans person. You don't have gender dysphoria if you love your.
Can we just say, and something that obviously that both of those people are subhuman wastes, and I would look forward to the day that.
And then I was reading one of the news articles, and they were like, one of the penalties for this child porn could be up to 30 years in prison.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean 30 years in prison?
Hopefully there's some small town justice.
I don't understand.
Let's come to something. You know, obviously I tweeted this guy's picture out, and other people have too. I can call it Occam's razor, call him whatever you want. But if you look like a putrid psychotic, you probably are.
Right? I mean, and that's that's what I find so disturbing about the left, and in particular, like a lot of this stuff about the trans stuff around kids and everything, is that they seem to have no danger sense for people that are obviously like walking red flags and evil, like Sam Brinton or
they
this
prioritize
dude.
them as being more deserving of apathy and empathy.
Right, and I would be a lot more willing. Like, you see how much like conservative people like Blair White, which we've talked about before, how like that gets like controversial in conservative circles, right? Or even like Bruce/Caitlyn Jenner, right? Like, because Bruce Jenner is obviously like a much more normal person who's like trying to, I mean, I use the word normal, more normal, more is doing a lot of work there, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like, Caitlyn Jenner is like trying to look like a woman and like be a relatively normal citizen of humanity, yes?
Yeah.
People like Sam Brinton or like this guy are clearly not.
Correct.
Like you're saying, like if you look like a psychotic, maybe you're just a psychotic.
Correct.
Right? And the fact that the left, like, apparently they claim to not be able to differentiate between these things at all, between like relatively normal people who suffer with these types of dysphorias, right? And that there's debate about the best potential way forward to treat that versus people who clearly are sick freaks who just need to go in a wood chipper like this dude. Like, and the fact that they can't differentiate that it's like, oh, we're still going to use her pronouns. She's the first elected New Hampshire state rep. Like, could happen to anybody. No, I mean, like, this was always a sick freak. And the fact that you couldn't tell it was a sick freak within 3 seconds just tells me that I don't trust your judgment about anything. Anything.
Yeah. And by the way, I hope that they, obviously, I want to know. I mean, I want to know who's working at these daycare centers. I want to know who their spouses are, who their girlfriends are, who their boyfriends are.
Right.
Because obviously we've got a problemo here.
Yeah, no kidding.
What's the hot sauce, House?
The hot sauce is the Chelsea Fire Wicked hot sauce. They bring us the Chelsea Fire Wicked Chelsea Fire Wicked hotline chat, where you can leave messages for the show.
By the way, on the All You Can Eat pod, which I thought we had a good one today, I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Seems like a lifetime ago. We didn't get to the messages. We will start with those.
We kept being interrupted. I was a little tough on that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a good thing there was no video of that one.
Hey, Alice, just curious, that Reddit post that you read on the BBP last night.
What was the post? Oh, that post.
Yes, that elicited a lot.
I am as angry at that trans guy as I am at this guy. This. Oh my goodness.
Did it say who the Redditor was? I heard it say Tim Shawmut from Newburyport. I got to say, Shattuck, you're brilliant. What better way to get what you want by creating a faux account and posting something so ridiculous, so unmanly, as to basically not trick,
coerce,
but I would say coerce your wife into doing same just to show what a man you are. Brilliant, buddy. Brilliant. By the way, I hope you guys woke up very happy today.
Wow. Alice, any thoughts on what he just said right there?
I would be more likely to think this was a troll post from someone.
Any thoughts on what he said
has
how that manifested in our own lives?
No thoughts on that.
Today whatsoever.
No thoughts on that at all whatsoever.
I will be selling those thoughts on OnlyFans. I was there.
But I would be more likely to think this was a troll post if all the reactions to it weren't like supportive and even when I was going through,
There reactions were supportive.
Yeah,
Alice,
a lot of the reactions were like, just explain to her that like your boundaries, blah blah blah, like all this stuff. And even some of the posts, there was one Twitter comment when people were posting this on Twitter and being like, "What did I actually just read?" Some of the like replies in the posts were also like saying that that's a totally legitimate thing to want. Like, so there's people out there who believe this.
No, there are
for
not.
Sure. There was one person who replied to the tweet because people were commenting about this and they were like, yeah, because only cringe Zoomers don't want to be raped. So they were saying it was
Alice,
being raped.
You can't
they
say
said
stuff
that
like
was being raped.
You can't say stuff like this. Alice.
Okay. Just saying. Are you going to play another message?
I'm trying to gather myself.
Okay.
Replica Shattuck. Been a while.
Oh, nice.
I'm sitting here listening to this podcast. And I am so angry right now at this Reddit person.
I know, Replica. I know. I know, man. By the way, Replica.
Why
Tim
is
and Canton,
everyone so upset about this? There's a lot of comments about this on our Facebook and on Twitter, too.
Replica, Tim and Canton, and who was it yesterday? Phil, maybe? All of them have a lot of birds in the background. Something's up.
Okay.
What's it, on Facebook? There's comments, or in the comment section here.
There was people commented on Twitter. That was this topic about this Reddit guy.
Yeah.
Elicited a lot of responses from people.
Alice,
I felt. I don't know. I didn't have that personally that strong a reaction to it, but I'm female, so maybe that's why.
And Tom.
Yes.
In the moment, in your frustration, in probably bewilderment of the whole subject.
Yep.
You had stated like the guy was hanging around with the wrong sexes. I will contend to you that no male, no matter what persuasion, doesn't want this to happen.
I think that is a true statement. You're right. Even Harvey Fierstein, nobody doesn't want that. Nobody. It is the perfect situation for a guy.
I don't know that much about them. Leaving this topic to you.
At all times. Like you said, funeral, open heart surgery.
Of course.
Consent is given. And that goes if you're Tom Shattuck.
Correct.
That goes if you're Alex Reamer. That
Correct.
goes no matter who is getting this situation done.
Yes.
I want that person gone.
Yep.
I want that person off the face of the earth. I would like to think that it's all just bullshit. Sorry.
It's okay.
But this day and age, it's probably not. And especially from weenies on Reddit. Reddit is a cesspool of garbage like that.
You think anybody's refusing a BJ in a small town, Alice?
No.
No.
Jason Aldean is not refused one.
Correct.
Hi, folks.
Hey.
That guy who wouldn't have sex with his girlfriend because he was awakened and
it's not even not having sex. His job was to lie there and feel ecstasy. That was his job. He
was raped, Tom.
We'll get into 17-year-old student men sleeping with teachers on some other time as well, Alice.
She was the aggressor. Yeah, that's the direct result of woke schooling and the pussification of men in this country.
Yes.
I blame white liberal suburban women and decades of liberals running schools. It's disgusting. Tom, you should find out who this guy is and go kick him in his bonus hole because he's obviously got no testicles. What a wuss.
I agree. Not only a wuss, but he's sexually blasphemous. That's what he is. How dare you eschew and then make her apologize? He has got to be, and I'm gonna not even gonna say has got to be. I'm going to confirm now.
Mm-hmm.
He is a man who is in pursuit solely of bestiality.
Maybe he's a trans man.
No, he's not. Bestiality. That's what he is. Bestiality. No bueno.
Hi, Alice and Tom. This is KG checking in from Plymouth.
Hey, KG.
I just gave consent to my wife that she can wake me up in any way she wants. And I'm going to go to bed now.
I don't blame you. It's like going to bed on Christmas Eve. Absolutely. You know you have consent, right? Have I not made that clear? Because I'd be kicking myself after 13 years.
Wait, you consent?
Oh, wait. So you didn't think you had consent?
I guess not.
All men listening, do yourselves a favor. Forget about changing the smoke detectors on Daylight Savings Day. Just make sure that you give consent. Make sure you've got that covered off.
You should print T-shirts.
Yes.
I give consent.
Let's do T-shirts. I give consent. Okay? That when I say let's, I mean you.
Well, I'm not going to wear one.
Oh, man, women can wear them too. I give consent.
Well, I don't think it's a good idea for women to wear them.
Men are going to wear them. Men are going to wear them. Absolutely. That's our newest shirt. BBP.
Burn Podcast.
SFG, which I believe is...
Steve from Gloucester.
Okay. Tim in Canton, .87. Oh, this is interesting. There's a lot going on here.
It's Thursday. That means it's...
More Tim's birds. Tim. And who are the other two with the birds? Replica. And Phil. Always with the birds. Always birds. They're in the same place, Alice.
Maybe they're all
It's some kind of asylum, and they're all together.
It's Thursday.
It's Whispering Meadows. That's where they're all meeting. We're family-safe programming.
That means it's Swear Words Thursday.
Oh, crap.
So this whole naming convention, oh, my God, it is so fucking gay. You know what? We're the listeners. We're the patrons. We pay a lot of money every month. We shouldn't have to now label things to make your life easier. Oh, actually, not all of us pay for the Patreon. So, you know what? Forget what I just said. Anyway, hope you have a nice, happy night.
Thank you.
Thanks for the content.
I mean, Tim,
it was free, by the way.
What do you expect Tom to do? Like, prepare for the show in advance and listen to things in advance and make notes and decide what he's going to talk about beforehand?
Taking your offspring to their different destinations, Alice. Doing heroic things. All right. Anonymous.
Hey, Morgan here.
Hey.
I have a name suggestion.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Diatomaceous Shattuck.
Ooh. Was that the word from the food
from the
podcast?
Yeah.
Diatomaceous. That's not a bad name.
Diatomaceous.
That's not bad, Morgan. BBP.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Biden.
Okay.
02.
Okay.
I feel that some of these naming conventions might be laughing at me.
You know, the only thing that progressives are actually upset about with these Hunter Biden hearings on Capitol Hill, and specifically with MTG pointing out that Hunter paid for a woman to fly from L.A. to New York. Essentially, she was sexually trafficked.
Yeah.
They don't care about that.
No.
But they are pissed about the carbon footprint that he paid for. Oh, that'll piss them off.
Absolutely. You are absolutely and totally right about that, Tim, as usual.
Thank you so much, as always, for listening. Those who paid, those who don't pay, those who leave messages, those who don't leave messages.
What is the ratio of mocking comments to complimentary comments about
the
my mustache? What is the other, guys? What is the other show? Come on. We had Matt Houston. We have Simon and Simon. We have Magnum PI. There's another show that was like Break Watch or something. Not Baywatch, but like what's it called? Not Undertow. Like Break Watch, Breakwater, Fast Break. There was some show in the early 80s with also at least one guy had a mustache that was something like where they had a boat. It was before Miami Vice and all that stuff. Dang it, Alice. We gotta get that. Let us know, will ya?
I guess so. I don't know how to search for it. Everything I get is like little lists of stuff, and I can't look through it. Anyway, thank you to all of you who listen, whether you pay or don't pay, or you leave messages or don't leave messages, or label them or not. I appreciate it.
Riptide!
What? Riptide?
It was Riptide!
Riptide?
Yes, January 3rd, 84 to 86.
Well,
Harry
I
King,
appreciate
Joe Penny,
all
Tom
of
Bray.
you. Leave messages about Tom's mustache for Sunday, please.